On a stormy afternoon, while most were seeking shelter from the rain, Brayden found himself helping an elderly woman navigate the slippery sidewalks of their suburban neighborhood. What seemed like a simple act of kindness quickly turned into a bewildering nightmare for the teenager. Just hours after escorting her home safely, Brayden was confronted by the police at his doorstep, accused by the very same woman he had helped. But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming stories. On that stormy afternoon, Brayden hadn't planned on doing anything heroic. He was simply returning from the local grocery store when he spotted the elderly woman, her frail frame battling both the wind and the rain. Offering her his arm, he guided her carefully along the slippery sidewalk. It seemed like nothing more than a good deed at the time, but nothing could have prepared him for what it would lead to. The woman, who introduced herself as Mrs. Whitlock, lived alone in a house that looked as old as she did. Its walls were lined with pictures of people who seemed long gone. "Thank you, dear," she said, her voice quavering as they reached her porch. Brayden smiled, reassured her he was happy to help, and began his walk home. Hours later, the harsh ring of the doorbell echoed through Brayden's house, disrupting the quiet evening. His mother answered the door to find two police officers in uniform. Brayden, overhearing his name, stepped forward, his stomach knotting as the officers asked him to step outside. "Brayden Foster!" one of the officers asked sternly. He nodded, his mind racing. "You are accused of theft and elder abuse by Mrs. Eleanor Whitlock," the officer continued, his eyes searching Brayden's face for any sign of guilt. Brayden's jaw dropped in disbelief. "But I just helped her home," Brayden protested immediately. The officers didn't seem convinced. "We need you to come with us to discuss these accusations formally," the other officer said. "Let's get you to the station so you can give an official statement." A mix of fear and confusion churned in Brayden's gut as he glanced back at his worried mother. At the station, Brayden repeated his side of the story to a detective who scribbled notes without looking up. "Mrs. Whitlock claims a valuable item went missing after your visit," the detective finally said, his expression unreadable. Brayden felt his frustration mounting. "I didn't even go inside her house," he insisted. But the detective just nodded, urging him to continue. After giving the police his official statement, Brayden was free to go home. Back at home, unable to sleep and haunted by the day's events, Brayden scoured the internet for any information on Mrs. Whitlock. His search revealed little until he stumbled upon an obituary of a man in his town, with the same last name, labeled a prominent businessman and philanthropist. The connections weren't clear, but the seed of curiosity was planted. The next day at school, Brayden couldn't focus. He kept replaying the events, wondering if he had missed a sign, a clue at her house that something was amiss. During lunch, he shared his turmoil with his best friend, Jenna. "You should go back there," she suggested. "Maybe you'll find something that can clear your name." Reluctant but desperate to find a solution, Brayden walked back to Mrs. Whitlock's neighborhood after school. The house looked different in the daylight, less ominous, but just as old and secretive. As he approached, he noticed the numerous garden gnomes. Each seemed to stare at him, tracking him as he walked to the front door. He knocked, heart thumping, uncertain but needing answers. No answer. Brayden called out, but the house remained silent. Peering through the window of the old house, he could see the outline of furniture covered with sheets, as if no one had lived there for years. Confusion turned to alarm. Had Mrs. Whitlock really lived here, or had he been set up from the start? Pacing the sidewalk, Brayden dialed Jenna's number. The phone rang twice before she answered, her voice a comforting sound in the chaos of his thoughts. "Jenna, the house was empty, like no one's been there for years." Everything was covered, silent. "It's freaking me out," he said quickly. Jenna's pause was palpable. "Brayden, that doesn't make any sense. You need to tell the police everything." "Are you sure?" Brayden's voice cracked slightly. Jenna was firm. "Yes. Go to the police. Explain about the house. It's the best way to clear your name." "Okay, I'll do it. It's just all so weird." Jenna's reply was swift. "I know, but you've got nothing to hide. This might help." At the police station, Brayden spoke earnestly, his words tumbling out. The house looked abandoned, no signs of Mrs. Whitlock or anyone else living there. Furniture covered in sheets, no sounds, nothing. It's like walking into a ghost house. The officer raised an eyebrow, scribbling notes. Brayden continued, describing each detail, hoping it painted the eerie picture he'd witnessed. The officer nodded slowly, his pen pausing over the notepad. Brayden's gaze was earnest, desperate for them to understand the stark contrast he'd experienced. "Brayden, you need to make sure they understand how different it was," Jenna said over the phone later that evening. "It's important. This could really prove you didn't take anything, that maybe this is all some big mistake or mix-up." Brayden sighed, feeling the weight of her words. "Yeah, I'm going back tomorrow. I have to make sure they get it right." Jenna's encouragement echoed in his mind as he planned his next steps. Standing outside the police station, Brayden hesitated. He chewed on his lip, considering Jenna's advice. He worried it might make things worse, casting more doubt on his story. Shaking his head, Brayden turned away from the station, deciding against going in. He needed another opinion, someone he could really trust. Instead of following Jenna's advice immediately, Brayden drove home. He needed to talk to someone who knew him better than anyone, his mother. The drive felt longer than usual, each red light a moment to second-guess his decisions. As he pulled into the driveway, his hands were shaky on the steering wheel, but he felt a wave of relief seeing his home welcoming him. Brayden walked through the front door, finding his mother in the kitchen. The smell of dinner cooking was comforting. He took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm inside him. "Mom, we need to talk," he started, his voice tight with anxiety. His mother turned from the stove, wiping her hands on her apron, her expression shifting to concern. In the living room, Brayden paced back and forth as he spoke. The house was empty, everything covered up like a ghost town, he explained, gesturing wildly. His mother listened, her brow furrowed. Brayden stopped pacing, looking at her. "I need to figure this out," he said, more to himself than to her. He took a deep breath, steeling himself to lay everything out clearly. "Mom, do you think I should go back to the police? Tell them about the house again?" Brayden asked, looking for reassurance. His mother considered, her eyes thoughtful. Brayden waited, hoping she'd have the answer. He trusted her judgment more than anyone's and knew she would steer him right. After Brayden finished, his mother remained silent for a moment, absorbing everything. "Brayden, I need you to be completely honest with me about everything that happened today. Did you do anything that might have been misunderstood?" "Mom, I swear I didn't do anything wrong. I only helped Mrs. Whitlock because she was struggling in the rain." He explained further. "I only walked with Mrs. Whitlock to her porch to make sure she was safe. Once she thanked me, I left straight away. I didn't even step inside her house." His mother nodded, processing his words. Brayden hoped his detailed account would help her understand the sincerity of his actions. His mother's response came warmly. "Brayden, I believe you. I know you were just trying to be kind." She reached out, squeezing his hand. "You have my complete support, no matter what. We'll get through this together." Relieved by his mother's unwavering belief in his innocence, Brayden felt a surge of strength. "I'll help you in every way I can to clear your name," his mother promised, her eyes locking with his. She was ready to fight, her stance firm and protective. Brayden felt a renewed sense of hope as they sat at the kitchen table, planning their next steps. "We'll start first thing tomorrow," she added, her resolve as strong as her words. Together, they brainstormed potential strategies to prove Brayden's innocence. They laid out sheets of paper, scribbling down every idea that came to mind. Brayden suggested checking with neighbors or finding security footage, eager to explore every lead. As they discussed, the idea of revisiting the Whitlock house emerged. Though risky, they agreed it might hold crucial clues. His mother reassured him, her unwavering support giving him confidence. They searched online for information about the Whitlocks, eventually finding Mr. Whitlock's obituary. Reading aloud, Brayden noticed inconsistencies in Mrs. Whitlock's story. If he passed away years ago, how do her claims make sense? He questioned. Realizing they needed more historical records, his mother suggested visiting the city archives. The next day, Brayden, his mother, and Jenna arrived at the archives, ready to uncover the truth. At the front desk, Brayden requested files on the Whitlock family. As the clerk disappeared to retrieve them, the trio waited anxiously, knowing they were on the brink of a revelation. As they waited, Brayden, his mother, and Jenna speculated about what the files might reveal. Brayden tapped his foot anxiously, watching for the clerk's return. When the clerk finally emerged, he carried only a thin file, looking puzzled. "This is all I could find," he admitted, explaining that some documents might have been removed or misplaced. The trio exchanged concerned glances, unsettled by the missing records. Taking the file, they moved to a nearby table, questioning who might have tampered with the documents and why. As they sifted through the sparse contents, a sealed envelope unexpectedly fell out. Brayden's name was written in elegant cursive on the front. His mother and Jenna leaned in, shocked. Brayden carefully opened the envelope, his hands trembling. The weight of the discovery filled the air as they prepared to uncover whatever secrets lay within. The envelope contained a single letter, directing Brayden to an unknown address. What could be there? Jenna wondered aloud. The trio exchanged glances, excitement and apprehension mixing as they pondered why Brayden's name was on it. The letter instructed him to visit a grand mansion at the city's edge, offering no explanation. Brayden's mother was skeptical. This could be a trap, she warned, but curiosity tugged at them all. After discussing the risks, they left the archives, stepping into the crisp air as tension lingered. In the car, Brayden looked up the address. It was in a secluded, historic part of the city. They debated the dangers, but ultimately decided to investigate. "Only one way to find out," Brayden said, starting the engine. As they drove, they speculated on the letter's meaning. "Why me?" Brayden asked. Jenna suggested it might be connected to Mrs. Whitlock, or something unexpected. Brayden's hands tightened on the wheel as they pulled up, where a well-dressed man stood waiting. His rigid posture and measured gaze heightened their anticipation. As they stepped out, the butler introduced himself as Alfred and led them through the mansion's ornate halls to a cozy sitting room. Inside, Mrs. Whitlock and an older man awaited, their expressions calm but expectant. Once seated, the older man revealed, "Brayden, you are a distant relative of the late Mr. Whitlock." Stunned, Brayden processed the unexpected connection. Mrs. Whitlock explained she had been asked to discreetly assess his character. The late Mr. Whitlock wanted his fortune to go to someone who needed it and would use it for good, she said sincerely. The older man added, "You stand to inherit the Whitlock fortune if you commit to using it benevolently." Brayden, his mother, and Jenna exchanged astonished glances. The room was heavy with the weight of the opportunity and responsibility now before him. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscription, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming stories.